When you hear be more visible, does your brain immediately think, great, I need to post more? Mine used to, but here's what I discovered. The opportunities that have grown my business didn't come from a singular post or creating more content. They came from having more conversations. How many of us before COVID had a lot of in-person networking events? For me, my business grew through word of mouth for years when I was going, but networking groups slowed down. They stopped during those years. But once the pandemic was over, they never really got started, or they stayed on Zoom. It just wasn't the same. And so the referrals that I relied on, they started to disappear. And I do remember thinking, well, I guess I need to create more content. Like a lot of business owners, maybe yourself included, I assumed visibility meant posting more often. But the problem? Posting wasn't creating more opportunities. And if you are a poster, you probably know doubling down on something that's not working, posting 7 times a day, which is what some marketing experts will tell you. Why would you double down on something that's not working? Something that you can't control. You can't control if someone is leaving a comment or liking. But when I started to look at it through that lens, I realized that visibility isn't about being everywhere. It's about being consistently present in the rooms, or whether that's digital or in person, where the right people are. So instead of asking myself, how many platforms should I be on? I started asking, where are the people I actually want to build relationships with? Where are they hanging out? And that's a completely different question, because people don't remember the business owner who posted 12 times this week. They remember the one that was curious and kept seeing and talking to them and really getting to know them, not just business-wise, but personal, and how that person made them feel. Because remember, people buy from people. And if you have a really good base relationship, you're consistently showing up in communities, that's how you are visible, when you're giving value. Now, if you're just posting about your own business, like buy from me, and leaving and not interacting or engaging with other people's posts, that's not value. I mean, you are going through the comments, kind of like an in-person, you're at a party, you're just like, hey, how's it going? You're working the room. But you're not saying, here's my business card after each one, because that's where it gets a little bit like, okay, thanks for the business card. It's more, hey, tell me what you do. And when I'm in there being curious and asking, this is a great introvert trick to get someone to talk about themselves, but any vert could use it to apply. When you're curious about the other person and they're talking about themselves, you are gathering information, and you're not going to pounce with an offer. That's not what we're doing, but you're considering, how can I help? And if I'm not the right person to help, who can I connect you with? Or sometimes it's just a conversation. Nothing has to happen from it. But often if you do have a connection, what will happen is you'll say, hey, where can we stay in touch? How are you, where are you hanging out online? And that's where you make notes so that you can be consistent. And consistency creates familiarity. And it's that, oh God, I'm gonna say the word again. Familiarity that is building trust. And that's where doors start to open. Because even if you weren't a working together relationship, if it wasn't a good match, maybe you share similar audiences and you do other things. You have podcasts, if someone has a podcast and you're a guest on there, or you go into their community and you speak. Maybe you're referring people to each other. So for me, I do SEO content writing for websites, but I don't like to do the technical. And I know just enough to be dangerous, but not enough to really consider myself an expert. So if it's like a WordPress, I mean, I built WordPress from scratch. But anyways, all that to say, I don't love doing it. So I could partner with someone who does love doing that and has processes in their business, and introduce people and say, hey, this is part of my partnership. Or maybe I create a white label offer where under me is the service of creating it, but my price is reflecting that, okay, well, I have to pay this other person to do that part of it. So lots of opportunities to, just from the seed of a coffee chat. And I have mentioned this before, but a recent conversation that I had, we were in a speed networking event, and we said, hey, we've seen each other in the rooms. We haven't seen each other in a while. Let's grab a coffee chat. We did. And now I'm doing a series of workshops in her community. People who, they're new to me, who I never would have met before, and they are my ideal audience. So now I can serve their community. I can get visible that way. And it's great for me to talk about my offer and, teach my expertise and see who's taking me up on it, because that's where you get clarity of your message as well. The more you talk about it, the more clear you become, the more confident you are, and the more people you're attracting. Or, if it's not for them, they know someone who, hey, you need to connect with Elizabeth. I just heard her talk and she has this thing. I think it would help you. So that is where we are trying to go. All from one conversation. And I have seen the same thing happen with my clients. Many of them are working so hard to create content, just like I was, and they're hearing crickets. And then I start to, if we're talking, I will recommend, why don't you start, talking to people, hear what they're asking. And when they do that, that's where the gold is. They are learning, and I have learned where people are struggling. They will hear the same questions over and over. Like, there are commonalities in the thread. And that's actually how I built my community. I was having all these conversations, and I realized people don't know how to network. Like, they think they do, but they're not following up. So they will attend an online event. It could be a specific networking event, and they're getting access to all these names, all these connections. And, so they're connecting on LinkedIn or, whatever. Some people follow up, so then they're taking them up on the coffee chat, but they're not taking control of the situation in terms of having a follow-up plan. Maybe every day they want to reach out to 5 people and fill their books with chats. Now, a lot of these groups, they do have coffee chats instead of just going right to the offer, but I'm telling you, if you are open to it, there are so many more things than just the sale. Referral partners, word of mouth, speaking opportunities, things that you might not have even thought of. And even listening to their struggle, that's how I saw the gaps. I go to all these networking events, but I never get any leads. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, people are telling you to network, but they're not teaching you how to have a follow-up system and what daily activities you need to do to continue priming the pump. So, for example, I did it so well that I'm booked up until the end of August. It's August 3rd right now. I'm starting to book into September. So I have slowed my strategy, and I have decided that, okay, I don't need to do new conversations at this point or go to new events because I have plenty on my calendar of one-on-one coffee chats. What I'm going to focus on is, let me circle back to some of those other people who I've had conversations with and just keep them warm and like, hey, how's it going? What are you working on this week in your business? And it's those conversations and that system that I've designed. Obviously, there's more to it because you have to understand what all you're doing and have a process. But that has shaped what I'm doing today. both in my free community, and then eventually it became the foundation for my growth lab. It's a cohort that I designed because people want to have an accountability. Like, I need to show up every week, or I need somewhere or someone that I can ask questions for. I need to understand a system. I need to find the right rooms, or I'm going to all these events. How can I maximize them? So that's what we talk about there. And I'm going to invite you now. I've been speaking for many minutes, and instead of trying to be visible everywhere, I'm going to invite you to choose one place. That could be LinkedIn. It could be as simple as one Facebook group, or it could be a school community wherever you like to hang out. It could be your own community, or maybe you're just choosing coffee chats, and that's where you want to be visible. Is you go to a lot of networking events and you just want to get your calendar full of coffee chats. Where do you want people to start recognizing your name? If you commit to showing up there consistently for the next month, not perfectly, just consistently, I wonder if you're going to start hearing, I see you everywhere. Because that's what happened to me. I was on school. I have three to five core communities that I go in, including my own. And because if you have people who have similar interests as you, or they're your ideal audience, and you're in the right rooms where your ideal audience is, they are going to be there. And then they're going to see you in more than one place. Or if you're showing up every day and they're showing up every day, they're going to come to you and say, you know what? I just see you everywhere. And that is the goal, my friend. That is true visibility. Once you have chosen that one place you want to become known for in the next 30 days, I would love you to put it in the comments so that I can cheer you on. I genuinely want to know. And if you're tired of creating content that never turns into conversations, this is the first step of taking control of marketing your business. And if you need more ideas, I'm going to welcome you to join my school community, which I have a couple links in the description and down below. It's free community where business owners are building the habits of showing up every day, answering I have daily quests, which is, a question of the day, and get you talking about your business. And then not only just talking about your business, go into the comments and comment on other people's and really get to know them in an aware community. So you're practicing in a safe space what I'm telling you to do today in the other communities. And when you have an aware audience who, see if you can take those conversations into coffee chats, see what happens. And that is when you're turning visibility into real opportunities. So whether you're in my community already, or if this is of interest to you and you're going to come, please come practice. That's what those daily quests are for. We take weekends off. It's only Monday to Friday. But when you show up, you're going to fill your business cup. Until next time, have a great time networking, booking all of those chats, and letting me know where the place to be is for you. See you in the next one.